Alright, so we got the chapter 239 spoilers, and this chapter is going in a completely different direction than what we thought, because in the previous chapter we saw Yuji and Higuruma coming down to finally square off against Sukuna, and that was about as hyped as things got. And, you know, Gege probably knew that for sure, and that's why he's taking a little detour from that. You know, letting that hype simmer. But don't worry, because the detour that we're taking in this chapter is still pretty incredible. Like, this is still maintaining that hype. And in the beginning of the chapter, we see a rolled hair girl running away from someone. Her name's not mentioned throughout the chapter, but she's angry at Kenjaku for all that's happening in the Culling Games. She asks, isn't it too cruel to give them life once again by turning them into cursed objects, but now to take away their lives again? And I don't know if it's necessarily cruel given the circumstances and context of everything and all of the individuals involved in this, but you're also, you know, getting a fair chance at surviving. Like, it is a game after all, and everyone has somewhat of equal chances at winning and surviving. She then gets trapped by a jellyfish type curse as she hears Kenjaku saying, if it's too tasteless, I'll add more flavor. If it's too strong, I'll add more of the original. You people are like seasoning in water to me. I don't have any particular feelings towards you. So Kenny is back again, and we knew that he was probably going to be chasing her down because he said that he was going to do that. Like, before Sukuna began fighting Gojo, Kenjaku just said that he was going to go out and kill all the rest of the sorcerers in the Culling game because he set up a rule in the Culling game for that when only Megumi and Geto are left alive, then the game can end. Megumi, of course, being Sukuna, Geto being Kenjaku. And there was a handful of sorcerers that survived the chapters that we've seen so far going against various opponents, Uro being one of them. There's also those samurai guys still out there that were shoehorned in to give Maki that power up. We don't see them in this chapter, but just remember them because they're going to come back. I'm sure they're just going to die, like, instantly, but they were kind of cool, I guess. She tries to fight back, but Kenny fully seals her head and says, even though I don't have any feelings towards you people, I sometimes feel like you guys are too good to waste. So yeah, that was quick. Kenjaku just instantly taking care of Uro here. He does some kind of, like, I don't know, jujutsu box around her head or something. I guess it's one of his curse's abilities or something, and she just dies. I don't know. I'll have a better understanding of what's going on here once the full chapter comes out. So subscribe if you haven't already, because I always review the chapters after the spoilers as well. But yeah, I guess Uro is dead here because then someone else arrives and asks Kenny why he's still talking when she's already dead. So I would say I'm kind of disappointed by this, but it doesn't really matter. I was expecting just a little bit more from Uro because it seemed like she had some kind of connection with Sukuna, but I guess it doesn't really matter. And it just went nowhere, just like with Ryu. I was hoping for a little bit more from Ryu, but when he encountered Sukuna, he just got negative diffed by him. But first, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Manscaped. Because Manscaped has just released their new Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. So last year I was rocking with the 4.0, and I thought that was already pretty much perfect, but they somehow have improved it with the 5.0. It has a premium 720 RPM motor, a 700 mAh Li-ion battery that holds a charge for up to 60 minutes, and of course it's waterproof with its enhanced LED spotlight and skin-safe trimmer blade, which takes care of the biggest weed infestation that you might have. But now they also have the skin-safe oil blade, which I am very excited about because I always have to shave. And now with this, shaving is easier than it's ever been and safer. So guys, you can get your very own Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra by clicking the link in the description, but also you're going to get 20% off and free international shipping by using my code Zhoniin. Again, link in the description, or you can go to manscaped.com/Zhoniin. Thanks, guys. And I'm not saying that Gege should keep all of these characters alive, of course, but at least I thought they were going to do something of substance before they died. But with Uro, it's just, no, she's kind of just making Kenjaku look better, I suppose. That is if she is actually dead here. There's a chance she could have survived, but I don't know, probably not. All right, so I just got an update as I was recording this video. So according to Miyamura, the girl in this chapter is not Uro. Who is it? I'm not really sure. It could be her sister or something. But yeah, I'll just put that out there. But the person who was talking to Kenjaku here, you know, talking about her being already dead, is Hazanoki. He's back. He was like Reggie's right-hand man during that stretch of chapters during Megumi's fight. And he has like that curse technique where he can make his body parts explode, like his teeth and eyes and stuff. And pretty sure he also has reverse curse technique too. That's like how he heals himself after he like pulls his body parts off. But Kenjaku jokes about who's qualified to be his friend, and he says, 1, they shouldn't bore him, and then 2, they should be on the same level as him. So yeah, short list there. I guess he considers Urarame to be on the same level as him. Hazanoke refuses to be Kenny's friend because he says that he had enough with friends with long hair. Yeah, I guess he's referring to Reggie here. And he also says, you sure like talking to yourself. I guess that's what happens when you live too long. And Kenjaku says, because my friends get fewer and fewer. And then he asks Hazanoke to hold on and watch as Gojo and Sukuna's battle. He realizes that Sukuna expanded his curse technique target to take down Gojo. Then adds, got a good looking face there, supposedly referring to Gojo. So yeah, they just pull out their phones and they start watching Mei's live stream of Gojo versus Sukuna. And at this point in time, Sukuna had just split Gojo in half after using his upgraded dismantle he learned from Maharaga. So now Kenjaku knows that Gojo died, and of course he's not surprised at all. Like, he's just watching it like, oh yeah, just as planned. Kenny explains that he has left his curses at Shinjuku to monitor. He says he'll know if anyone left Shinjuku based on the total amount of cursed energy. He also knows the amount of cursed energy each sorcerer, and Yuta, who's the number 2, is especially noticeable. He also shares sight with his curses. So yeah, more nuanced abilities from Kenjaku here, further showing that like, yeah, he's along with Sukuna at the top, and they can fully take advantage and utilize every single aspect of the curse technique. Also, him referring to Yuta as the number 2 here, which is understandable. Number 2 to Gojo, I assume. And I think this is going to be Akotsu's final fight as well. Like, it's going to be Kenjaku versus him, because in Sendai Colony, Akotsu says that he is going to be the one that kills Kenjaku, and it's like, I guess so, because Akotsu is like somewhat of a secondary MC at this point, so it would be understandable if he takes down the secondary main villain. And I know you're saying, what about Megumi? It's like, he's got the whole Yuji and Sukuna stuff going on. Kenjaku's kind of just off to the side. Kenjaku then attacks Hazanoke with curses, and Hazanoke tries to survive by throwing a tooth towards them, imbued with his curse technique. The teeth explode at contact, and Hazanoke attempts to run away, but Kenjaku's curses round him up. And when asked what his true objective is, Kenjaku says that he's going to end the culling game by eliminating all players. And with that as a binding vow, he'll activate the merging process to Tengen with all of the people in Japan. Kenny asks Hazanoke, don't you want to make sure if something you thought interesting is true or not? Isn't that what living is all about? So yeah, Kenjaku's ultimate plan being brought up here again, where he's going to merge the population of Japan with Tengen's barrier, which is merged with Tengen himself, and then it will, in theory, fuse into this gigantic, like, city-sized curse entity that has boundless power to some extent. I'm not really sure, but yeah, this is what Kenjaku ultimately wants, and I was pretty sure it was going to happen considering it was said so much, set up so much, and we actually saw a glimpse of it. But now that the culling game needs to end for it to start, makes you wonder if it will happen. But also, considering that Yuji might have an ability that allows him to switch bodies or souls or something, that could be how they get around this binding vow of leaving only Megumi and Geto as the final players. Yuji could somehow switch a soul outside of the barriers or something. I don't know, I'm still cooking on that one. Or if he just, switches his soul with Kenjaku and goes into Geto's body. I don't know. We then see Takaba arrive to fight against Kenjaku. Wow, I can't believe Takaba is showing up here. He is one of the characters I'm most excited about, and to see what his potential is, and I think we're going to get it here, and I think this is like the perfect opponent for him. We don't really need to see him go against Sukuna, because Sukuna, he's just too powerful right now, but Kenjaku is like number 2 for sure, and I think this is a great test for Takaba, and I think Gege knows that too, because Gege immediately attacks Takaba and wonders why he came alone, as there's no monitoring from Mei. But Kenny says he doesn't have any interest in awakened players except Higuruma. Now that's super interesting. So Takaba and Higuruma are, as he says, awakened players, meaning that they were pretty much normal people up until a couple months ago when Kenjaku altered their brains to be able to have curse techniques. And I wonder if Kenjaku knew what curse techniques they were going to get, or if it was kind of just random and he just picked people who had potential, because he's interested in Higuruma because Higuruma's deadly sentence. I mean, I'm interested in it. Everybody has to be at this point. It is so fascinating, especially to see some high profile characters fall under it, like seeing Sukuna or Kenjaku on trial, you know, via how the domain expansion works would just be near 10 out of 10 chapter quality probably. So yeah, it's understandable that Kenjaku probably wants to use that and bring out the full extent of it in some way maybe, but Takaba has a curse technique that surpasses even that, in my opinion. It surpasses most. And we'll get into it because after he attacked Takaba and we just see like his curses just immediately just slam after him and you break the concrete and everything, Takaba survives Kenny's attack and Kenjaku is in disbelief. Takaba curses at Kenny, saying, "You crappy monk, you tried to kill me. I'm not forgiving you. I'm gonna get you in jail." And Kenny feels something is off with Takaba. Kenjaku's thoughts after seeing Takaba survive the attack. What was that? That's the first time I felt something like that. It wasn't that there was no damage. It was like he made it so that there was no damage. And on the last page, Takaba says, there's a lot of things to get excited for in this world, but the number one thing to get excited about is when an entertainer, only there to match numbers, takes the whole show. And Kenjaku says, you're right. So I am super hyped for this because of Takaba's curse technique, which is called comedian. And when he comes up with something that he's certain will be funny, it becomes reality. It's a curse technique capable of opposing even Gojo. But when it comes to his own curse technique, he's utterly clueless. And that was verbatim the narration from chapter 173. So when Kenjaku says, it was like he made it so that there was no damage, it's because he straight up manipulated reality. This is the most outlandish curse technique in the series, I think. The most different one. The most like unhinged curse technique. It's so different from the other ones. Don't get me wrong, some of them are crazy and overpowered for sure, but this is just very different. Like it's straight reality manipulation, and I wonder how far that can go. But we'll get more into that in the chapter review because I'm already running a little too long with this video anyway. But let me know what you guys think about this in the comments. And if you like the video, please give it a like and please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day and I'll see you in the next one.